Men don't know this. But what if the biggest secret women wish men over 60 understood wasn't about romance or relationships, or even age itself, but about health? Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you truly listened? Not just heard, but listened to what your body has been trying to tell you. Because growing older isn't the problem. The problem is the silent weight men carry as the years pass. The pressure to act strong, to stay quiet, to push through pain, to pretend everything is fine even when energy drops, sleep becomes broken, and confidence doesn't feel the same. Women see this. They feel it. And they wish men understood one truth. Strength isn't about staying silent. It's about staying connected. I've spoken to countless women who say the same thing in different words. I wish he would talk to me. I wish he would tell me how he feels. I wish he'd stop pretending he's invincible. Not because they want men to be weak, no. They want men to stay alive. They want men to stay present. They want men to stay themselves. Too many men hide behind the belief that stress is normal, exhaustion is normal, discomfort is normal. They chalk it up to age and move on. But here's the truth. The body whispers long before it screams, and the secret women wish men knew is that paying attention to those whispers is not a sign of fragility. It's a sign of maturity. Think of books like The Body Keeps the Score, where it's explained so clearly that the physical body remembers every experience, every pressure, every emotion you refuse to release. Men over 60 often carry decades of unspoken tension. Shoulders tighten, blood pressure rises, energy fades, motivation dips, and they blame age, not realizing that emotional stress is often the first domino to fall. What women notice before men do is disconnect. They see when your laughter becomes rare. They notice when your patience shortens. They feel when your presence fades, even if you're sitting right beside them. And what they wish you knew is that your health, your energy, your mental clarity, all of it improves when you stop carrying life alone. Research shows that men who stay emotionally open live longer. Their hearts function better. Their sleep improves. Their hormones stabilize. Their relationships deepen. Their minds stay sharper. And yet, for so many men, vulnerability feels uncomfortable, almost unnatural. But what if vulnerability is not the enemy? It's the path back to strength. Imagine this. Instead of pushing through fatigue, you ask, why am I feeling this way? Instead of ignoring tightness in your chest, you breathe deeply and reflect. Instead of distancing yourself from your partner, you share something real, something honest. That single moment of connection can lower stress more powerfully than any pill. Women are not searching for perfection. They're searching for presence. They want the man who shows up with intention. The man who says, I'm trying. The man who understands that health is not something you fix once. It's something you protect daily. And the protection doesn't come from complicated routines. It comes from simple habits done with consistency. 20 minutes of walking a day, a diet rich in whole foods, quality sleep, controlled stress, and regular checkups. Small actions that send a powerful message. I care about my life. I care about my future. I care about us. Men over 60 often underestimate the power of these micro choices. But your body responds to every positive decision like a spark, rekindling an old fire. Energy returns, confidence rises, intimacy deepens, conversations become richer. You don't just feel alive, you feel engaged. Women want men to know one more thing: aging doesn't mean fading. If anything, aging can bring the greatest version of you, wiser, calmer, more intentional. The man who knows what truly matters, the man who stops rushing and starts living. And here's the heart of it all. You don't have to reinvent yourself. You just have to reconnect with your body, your partner, and your own truth. The truth that real strength is not being unbreakable. Real strength is being aware, open, and alive. Because women don't want a perfect man. They want a healthy man, a present man, a man who listens not just to them, but to himself, a man who refuses to let silence steal the best years still ahead. Men don't know this, but every woman wishes they did. Men don't know this. But what if the biggest secret women wish men over 60 understood wasn't about romance or aging at all, but about health, real whole body health, that affects everything from energy to confidence to connection. Let me ask you something that might feel a little uncomfortable. When was the last time you actually paused and paid attention to what your body has been trying to tell you? Not ignoring, not pushing through, but truly listening? Because here's the truth. Most men don't realize until much later. Your body has been speaking for years. It whispers through fatigue. It tugs at you through stress. It tightens your chest when emotions pile up. It interrupts your sleep when your mind is carrying too much. And women see this. They feel it. They notice the moments when your spark dims, even when you don't admit it to yourself. And the secret they wish men over 60 knew is simple. Staying connected to your body, to your partner, and to your inner world is the real key to staying strong. Men are raised with a message that becomes dangerous with age. Silence equals strength. Don't complain, don't ask for help, don't show worry, just push through. But what if that idea, that quiet, heavy pressure to handle everything, is the very thing draining your energy today? Look at any book that explores mind-body health, like The Body Keeps the Score. The message is universal. The body never forgets what the mind refuses to feel. And for decades, many men have stored stress like it's some kind of trophy. Shoulder tension becomes a permanent fixture. Blood pressure rises quietly. Digestion changes. Mood shifts. Fatigue settles in. And because it doesn't happen all at once, it's easy to blame age instead of the accumulation of unprocessed stress. Women, especially those who've spent years beside you, see it differently. They don't see age, they see weight. Emotional weight, mental weight, physical weight. And what they wish you knew is that opening up isn't weakness, it's freedom. Because the moment a man allows himself to speak honestly, to express what's really happening inside, the body begins to relax. Stress hormones drop. Blood pressure improves. Sleep deepens. Energy returns. This isn't magic, it's physiology. Think about how many times you've brushed things off. Fatigue? I'm fine. Chest tightness? Just stress. Low motivation? It happens. But what if each of those little signals is your body asking for attention, asking for care, asking for change? Listening doesn't mean something is wrong. It means you're choosing to stay healthy. And here's something women often don't say out loud, but they hope you somehow understand. They don't expect you to be unshakable. They expect you to be present, truly present. Present in your conversations, present in your emotions, present in your life. They want the version of you that feels alive, aware, and engaged, not the version that's numbed by stress or fear of aging. Men over 60 have an incredible advantage: wisdom, experience, perspective. These years can become your strongest chapter, not your fading one. But that only happens when you stop carrying everything alone. When you allow yourself to breathe. When you stop seeing vulnerability as a threat and start seeing it as strength. And that strength doesn't only come from emotional health. It shows up in everyday choices. Choices that matter more at 60 than they did at 30. A 20-minute walk. A plate filled with whole foods instead of processed ones. Drinking water. Protecting your sleep. Managing stress. Getting regular checkups. These small acts send a message to your body: I want you to thrive. And your body listens. Energy begins to rise. Thinking becomes clearer. Confidence strengthens. And that shift, women notice it instantly, because what women want isn't a man who never ages or never struggles. They want a man who stays intentional. A man who still decides every day to care for his body and his mind. A man who shows effort even in the smallest ways. A man who doesn't let life carry him. He participates in it. And the beautiful truth is this: it's never too late. Your body can renew. Your relationships can deepen. Your purpose can sharpen. But it starts with choosing to stop ignoring yourself. It starts with a simple moment of presence, a slow breath, a decision to check in, a willingness to speak honestly, to feel honestly, to live honestly. Men don't know this, but women do. The strongest men are not the ones who stay silent. They're the ones who stay connected. They don't shut down. They open up. They don't pull away. They lean in. They don't pretend everything is fine. They choose to make things better. And that choice, that single powerful choice, can transform not only your health, but your entire life. Women aren't asking for perfection. They're asking for the man who cares enough to listen. To them, yes, but also to himself. The man who knows that his best years are not behind him, but waiting for him to show up fully. And if you do that, if you listen, if you connect, if you take care of the body and the life you've been given, then you'll discover the secret every woman already knows. Aging isn't the end. It's the beginning of becoming the strongest, most present version of yourself. Men don't know this, but every woman wishes they did. Men don't know this, but there is a moment in every man's life, usually somewhere after 60, when he begins to feel time differently. Not as a countdown, but as a mirror. A quiet reflection that asks, are you living or are you simply moving through the days? And the truth is, women sense this shift long before men do. They watch the subtle changes, the heaviness in your step, the pause before you get up from a chair, the sigh that escapes without you noticing. They feel the distance when your mind drifts, even if your body is sitting right beside them. And they wish you understood something simple yet powerful. Aging doesn't pull you away from life unless you let it. Connection, intention, and presence can pull you back. Let me ask you another question that cuts to the core of this. When did you stop believing that growth was still possible for you? Because so many men cross 60 and quietly assume their best chapters are finished. Energy slows, sleep changes, strength feels different. And instead of exploring why, instead of adjusting, instead of learning new ways to thrive, they settle into silence. But silence is not acceptance, it's surrender. And women wish men knew they don't have to surrender anything, not their passion, not their purpose, not their health, not their hope. Here's the truth that science, psychology, and even the wisdom of countless books agree on. The brain and body are far more adaptable than most men give them credit for. Neuroplasticity doesn't disappear with age. Muscle doesn't vanish. It responds to effort. Hormones don't simply decline, they adjust based on lifestyle. Meaning doesn't fade, it deepens with the right choices. Yet many men interpret every change as a sign of decline instead of a signal for renewal. Women see how deeply this misunderstanding affects men. They watch men shrink not in body, but in spirit, moving less, speaking less, dreaming less. And what they wish you knew is that it's never too late to reignite something inside yourself. Not through grand gestures, but through small, powerful moments of intention. 10 minutes of stretching in the morning, a walk during sunset, choosing a healthier plate, turning off the TV and having a real conversation. These are not small acts. These are statements to yourself that you are still here and still capable. The second truth women wish men knew is this. Emotional health is just as important as physical health. Men often compartmentalize their feelings like drawers. One for stress, one for disappointment, one for fear, one for unspoken regrets collected over decades. And those drawers get filled until one day they no longer close. The pressure shows up in the body through tension, through inflammation, through restless nights, through an exhaustion that no amount of sleep fixes. But when a man speaks honestly, when he opens even one of those drawers and lets things breathe, the physical body responds instantly. Shoulders relax. Breath deepens. The heart settles. Clarity returns. And here's the beautiful irony. The very vulnerability men fear is the very thing that makes them stronger. Women know this. They've seen it in moments when a man finally expresses something real and immediately becomes lighter, calmer, more grounded. They wish men understood that emotional expression isn't a burden. It's a bridge back to connection, back to confidence, back to health. Now let's talk about something many men don't want to admit but privately worry about. The loss of identity that sometimes shows up after 60. Retirement, physical changes, shifts in routine, children grown, responsibilities different. Men who once felt defined by productivity, by physical strength, by providing, now feel adrift. Purpose becomes blurry. And this is where the real struggle begins. Not in the body, but in the spirit. But here's what women know, and what they wish men knew. Identity doesn't vanish with age, it evolves. The strongest men in their later years are not the ones who cling to who they were at 40. They are the ones who embrace who they can become at 60, 70, and beyond. Wisdom, patience, emotional intelligence, the ability to mentor, the depth to reflect and teach, these are strengths younger men do not yet possess. Aging doesn't remove power, it reshapes it. And if a man chooses to grow with those changes instead of resisting them, he becomes more compelling, more grounded, more attractive, more alive. Women see the potential in this transformation even when men don't. They know that a man who stays mentally and emotionally open will continue evolving, continue connecting, continue loving with depth. Finally, there's a truth every woman carries but rarely says aloud. She doesn't need you to be the man you were in your younger years. She needs you to be present now. She needs your attention, your humor, your curiosity, your willingness to engage with her and the world around you. She needs you to care about your health, not just for your sake, but for the life you still have together. Because men don't know this, but women aren't afraid of you aging. They're afraid of you disappearing while you're still alive, disappearing into silence, into stress, into fear, into detachment. They wish you knew that you still have time, you still have strength, you still have influence over your body and your future, and the moment you choose to show up, fully, intentionally, honestly, you don't just extend your life, you deepen it. This is the second keynote truth. Aging is not a decline, it's a decision. And women wish men knew just how much power they still have to shape the years ahead. Men don't know this, but there comes a point after 60 when life begins speaking to you in a different language. Not with the loud, urgent demands of youth, but with softer, subtler signals. Signals that many men ignore. The stiffness in the morning that wasn't there before. The deeper sigh when sitting down. The fading enthusiasm for things that once brought joy. The slower walk, the quieter voice, the moments of zoning out without realizing it. And women notice these things long before men do. They notice because they care, and because they wish men understood something essential. You don't have to accept every change as a permanent decline. Let me ask you a question that might shift your perspective. When did you stop believing your body could improve? Because that belief, or the loss of it, defines how a man ages. Many men reach 60 and quietly tell themselves, this is just how things are now. They accept low energy, poor sleep, reduced strength, emotional distance, and fading motivation as if these things are automatic. But they're not. They're signals. And signals are not stop signs. They're reminders. Women wish men knew that the body is far more resilient than they think. Muscles respond to training at 60, 70, and even 80%. The heart becomes stronger with simple, consistent activity. The brain forms new pathways with learning and social connection. Hormones shift positively when stress is reduced and sleep improves. These are not theories, these are documented truths throughout modern science. But men often never give their bodies the chance to respond because they've already decided it's too late. Women see this decision, and it hurts them, not because they expect you to be ageless, but because they know you're capable of more than the limitations you place on yourself. They see the man who still has fire inside, still has humor, still has purpose, but who no longer treats himself like someone worth investing in. That's the secret they wish men over 60 understood. You still matter. And how you treat yourself influences how deeply you live the years ahead. Another truth women wish men knew is that health is not only physical, it's relational. A man's connection to the people around him directly affects his lifespan, his mental clarity, his motivation, and his emotional well-being. Yet many men gradually isolate themselves without meaning to. Fewer phone calls to old friends, less conversation at home, less laughter, less vulnerability. Men often think withdrawing protects them, but in reality, it weakens them. The mind grows sharper in relationship, not in isolation. The heart becomes calmer through connection, not through silence. Women feel the distance long before the man even recognizes it. They notice when conversations become shallow, when eye contact becomes brief, when answers become shorter. They don't want more words, they want more presence. They don't want perfect communication, they want genuine connection. They don't want a younger version of you. They want the engaged version of you. This brings us to something deeply important, the emotional courage to stay open. Too many men over 60 shut down because they fear being misunderstood, appearing weak, or facing emotions they've ignored for decades. But staying closed doesn't protect you, it ages you. Emotional isolation fast forwards decline, and emotional openness slows it down. When a man expresses his worries, hopes, frustrations, or dreams, something powerful happens inside him. Stress hormones drop. Heart health improves, mental fog lifts, sleep becomes deeper, the body treats honesty like medicine. Women know this instinctively. They've lived it. They've seen men transform simply by speaking what's real instead of pretending everything is fine. And they wish men over 60 understood that speaking from the heart doesn't make you fragile, it makes you human. Another secret women wish men knew is that routine, even when simple, can rebuild a man's life. The body loves rhythm. The mind loves predictability. A short walk after waking up, a consistent sleep schedule, eating real food instead of processed shortcuts, drinking water, stretching, protecting quiet time. These habits sound small, but they compound. They build a man who feels steady, centered, alive, and they build relationships that feel warm instead of distant. Women aren't asking for dramatic changes. They're asking for consistency. Not perfection, not intensity, just presence and effort. They want to see that you care enough about yourself to take action. Because when a man cares for himself, his energy changes. He becomes lighter, calmer, more confident. He engages differently. He listens more deeply. He laughs more freely. And women feel that shift like sunlight finally reaching a room that's been dim for too long. Here's the part men rarely understand. Women are not afraid of your age. They are afraid of losing you emotionally before they lose you physically. They don't want you to disappear into quiet suffering, unspoken stress, or resignation. They want the man who still believes in his life. The man who still has goals. The man who looks forward to something. The man who chooses to grow instead of retreat. Because when a man keeps growing, he stays alive, not just biologically, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And that aliveness is the thing women cherish most. So here is the heart of Keynote 3. Aging only becomes decline when a man stops participating in his own life. Your body still responds. Your mind still evolves. Your relationships can still deepen. Your purpose can still expand. You are not finished. You are not fading. You still have time. You still have strength. You still have influence over how your story unfolds. Men don't know this, but women do. And more than anything, they wish you understood just how powerful your life can still be. Men don't know this, but there comes a moment, usually somewhere after 60, when your life becomes divided into two paths. One path leads to quiet decline, the slow fading of energy, purpose, passion, and connection. The other path leads to renewal, deeper clarity, stronger relationships, and a version of yourself that is wiser and more powerful than any decade before. And the surprising truth is this: women can see which path you're on long before you can. They see it in the way you carry yourself. They hear it in the tone of your voice. They notice it in the choices you make, the habits you keep, and the emotions you suppress. And what they wish you understood is that you still possess far more control over your life than you believe. Let me ask you something simple but important. When did you last do something for the very first time? As men age, routine becomes both comfort and trap. Familiarity replaces curiosity. Predictability replaces challenge. And slowly, almost without noticing, life becomes smaller. Days look the same. Conversations feel the same. The spark of adventure disappears. But here's the truth. Most men overlook. The brain needs novelty to stay alive. New experiences, new interests, new challenges, they stimulate growth, strengthen memory, boost mood, and renew confidence. Women observe this decline in curiosity not because they judge you, but because they know you still have more in you. They have seen the part of you that lights up when you're learning, exploring, creating, or solving something. And they wish you knew that you're not too old to be excited, to be challenged, to start something new. Whether it's learning a skill, picking up a hobby, reading something different, joining a group, or simply trying a new routine, novelty brings life back into a man. Women notice it instantly, the change in your energy, your posture, your engagement, your presence. Another truth women wish men understood is the power of emotional flexibility. Men often experience emotional rigidity as they age, not because they're cold, but because decades of stress, responsibility, pressure, and expectation have made emotional expression unfamiliar. It becomes easier to stay silent than to speak, easier to withdraw than to confront, easier to hold back than to open up. But emotional rigidity is one of the quietest and most damaging forms of aging. It isolates, it disconnects, it creates distance where connection is needed most. Women feel this distance long before men realize it. They feel the lack of warmth in your tone, the distracted mind, the unspoken tension, the avoidance of meaningful conversation, not because you don't care, but because you're tired. Tired emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Women know this tiredness. They see it clearly. And they wish you knew that opening up, expressing what's inside, and being emotionally present doesn't drain you. It restores you. A man who remains emotionally flexible ages differently. He becomes calmer, clearer, more patient, more connected. His relationships strengthen. His mind stays sharper. His stress reduces. His health improves. His spirit feels lighter. And women feel that shift. They feel the warmth return. They feel the presence return. They feel the man they love coming back. Another truth women wish men over 60 knew is the importance of protecting joy. Too many men confuse seriousness with strength. Life becomes about responsibilities, routines, keeping things together, solving problems, staying realistic. But joy isn't childish. It's medicine. Laughter reduces stress hormones. Playfulness improves cognitive function. Lighthearted moments strengthen relationships. Even the simplest joys, a walk with music, a funny conversation, a hobby that makes you lose track of time, have the power to reverse emotional tension. Women want this joy for you. They're not asking you to be carefree. They're asking you to be alive. They miss the version of you that smiled without thinking, that cracked jokes, that felt excited, that looked forward to things. They wish you knew that joy isn't something you grow out of. It's something you must protect as you grow older. There's another truth that many men avoid, but women deeply understand. Your body is not your enemy. Aging isn't working against you, it's guiding you. The stiffness you feel in the morning, it's your body asking for movement. The low energy, it's asking for better food and better sleep. The aches, they're asking for care, not neglect. Too many men respond to their body's signals with denial. They push through pain, they ignore warning signs, they dismiss changes. But the body isn't punishing you, it's communicating with you. Women wish men understood that taking care of your body is not vanity, it's love. Love for yourself, love for your future, love for the people who want you around. A simple routine, stretching, walking, eating whole foods, staying hydrated, limiting stress, can transform how a man ages. It strengthens not only the body, but also the mind and emotions. Women feel safe and connected when the man they love takes care of himself, not because they need him perfect, but because they want him present. And here's the final truth of this keynote. The greatest strength a man over 60 can possess is intentionality, living with awareness, choosing with purpose, showing up with presence. Every day, you make a choice to withdraw or engage, to disconnect or connect, to fade or to grow. Aging doesn't take away your power. It reveals it. It reveals who you choose to be now that life is quieter, slower, and more reflective. Women know you still have greatness inside you. They know you still have passion, wisdom, humor, love, depth, potential. They wish you knew it too. Because when a man over 60 decides to stay alive, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, he becomes one of the strongest forces in the world. Men don't know this, but women do. And they wish, more than anything, that you understood how much life you still have left to live. Men don't know this, but there comes a time after 60 when the world begins to quiet down, and suddenly you can hear your own thoughts more clearly than ever before. The noise of earlier life, career pressure, responsibilities, the rush of raising a family begins to fade. And what remains is the deeper question, who am I now? This question is not a crisis. It's a calling. But many men mistake it for a sign that life is winding down. Women, however, see it differently. They see it as the moment a man begins to step into his most meaningful chapter. And they wish men understood that this chapter can be richer, more fulfilling, and more powerful than anything that came before it. Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you told yourself, I still have time to become a better version of me? Because the truth is, many men stop believing this after 60. They think improvement is for the young, that growth is behind them, that change requires energy they no longer have. But the science of longevity, the research on cognitive strength, and the experiences of men who age vibrantly all say the same thing. The human body and mind are designed to evolve well into later life. Decline is not destiny. It's often simply the result of inaction. Women see the moments when men begin to slow down, not because of age alone, but because they stop investing in themselves. They see when you lose interest in hobbies, when your conversations shorten, when you avoid new experiences, when your world shrinks into routine. They feel the emotional distance even when you don't mean to create it. And what they wish you understood is that you are still capable of depth, excitement, reinvention, and emotional growth. One of the biggest truths women wish men knew is that health is not only about living longer, it's about living deeper. Many men focus solely on physical survival, heart health, blood pressure, mobility. These matter, absolutely. But what about emotional vitality? What about the sense of meaning that makes you want to wake up in the morning? What about the relationships that sustain you? What about the curiosity that keeps your mind alive? Women understand that these things are just as essential to longevity as medicine and diet, and they wish men realized how deeply emotional well-being shapes physical health. When a man carries unspoken stress, unresolved conflict, or hidden worry, it shows up in his body. Tension in the shoulders, tightness in the chest, slow digestion, restless sleep, lack of motivation. But when a man expresses himself, when he talks, shares, reflects, his body responds almost immediately. Breath deepens, heart rate lowers, the mind relaxes. Women see this transformation clearly, and they wish you knew that speaking honestly doesn't take strength away from you. It gives it back. Another truth women wish men over 60 understood is that connection is not optional. Humans don't thrive in isolation. The brain literally needs social engagement to stay sharp. Memory improves through conversation. Mood improves through companionship. Stress drops when you feel supported. But men often retreat as they get older. They stop calling old friends. They keep their worries to themselves. They become quieter around the people who love them. Women feel this retreat deeply, not because they think you're uninterested, but because they know you re-protecting yourself in the only way you've learned, through silence. They wish you understood that leaning on someone isn't burdening them, it's bonding with them. That asking for help doesn't diminish you, it connects you. That sharing your fears doesn't make you smaller, it makes you human. Another powerful truth women wish men knew is this. You don't have to move fast, but you do have to move forward. Aging doesn't ask for speed. It asks for intention. When a man becomes stagnant, When he stops stretching himself mentally, emotionally, or physically, aging accelerates. But when he stays curious, engaged, and willing to try, even in small ways, his life expands, and that expansion energizes him. Women have seen men completely transform with the tiniest shifts: a daily walk, a new interest, deeper communication, better boundaries, a renewed commitment to health. They wish men understood that growth doesn't require dramatic change, it requires consistent attention. Here's something else women know: a man's confidence in his later years has very little to do with his body and everything to do with his presence. Presence is the ability to be here, in the moment, aware instead of distracted, listening instead of drifting. A present man is powerful. A present man is attractive. A present man is connected. Women don't want you perfect. They want you present. They want the version of you that notices the details, asks real questions, laughs at small things, and engages with life instead of hiding from it. And here is the final truth of this keynote. The greatest gift a man over 60 can give himself is permission. Permission to rest, permission to grow, permission to express, permission to change, permission to feel, permission to dream again. Many men believe their dreams were for earlier decades. Women know the truth. Your dreams evolve, not expire. You can still learn, still improve, still build, still love deeply, still surprise yourself. Men don't know this, but women do. And what they wish more than anything is that you realized how much life is still waiting for you the moment you decide to participate fully in your own story.